Hello, friends. So recently, I delivered a talk on what is the future of agile roles. And you know what? For the last a few months, when I've been attending agile conferences and events, this topic always comes in either as a panel discussion, or we do have one or two speakers who talk about it or would like to share their thoughts around what's happening in the industry. But I think we all know for sure that in the last 1 year or so, agile roles have been predominantly challenged, right? I mean, organizations are not really seeing a value out of these roles. So I thought that why don't I talk about this, right? And why don't I try to apply something called as a blue ocean strategy and see if blue ocean strategy is something which we as agilists, whether we are a scrum master, product owner, or an agile coach, should we be using a blue ocean strategy to I would say regenerate the value of agile coaching. So this talk is about the blue ocean strategy. What exactly is the blue ocean strategy? Which organizations have applied it? And more so, as coaches, as scrum masters, as product owners, can we really apply this blue ocean strategy? Right? So I hope this talk helps you. This talk actually benefits you in, I would say, transforming your careers into the new agile coaching role. All right. My name is Ashutosh Bhattodekar, and I'm an enterprise agile coach, a trainer, and a consultant. So let us start by first understanding what essentially is a blue ocean strategy. Now, this is coming from a very famous book, also incidentally named as Blue Ocean Strategy. And it essentially talks about two types of oceans which are there. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure you would have got confused, right? What does this blue ocean mean? Ocean is supposed to be blue in color, right? But what this book talks about is that when you're operating, when an organization is operating in a situation where there are too many competitors who are trying to eat each other, what happens is there's a lot of bloodbath which happens. And as a result, what happens is the ocean becomes muddled with red color. Right, so that is what happens when there's a heavy competition amongst the players, and this mainly happens when there's a commoditization of services which has happened. A classic example being what was the telecom sector maybe 10 years back in India, right? 8 to 10 years back. We had a plethora of players across each of the sectors, right? Each of the zones, whether it is East Zone, West Zone, North or South Zone, we had around 8 to 10 what we call as the operators who were there. Right. So that is what we call it as a red ocean right now, because what has happened is there are so many competitors vying for that limited pie that there is a bloodbath which happens, and each fish tries to eat the other fish. So, what is the blue ocean strategy then? A blue ocean strategy is a strategy where a player actually tries to see market outside this cluttered domain or this cluttered space. And it's a kind of a disruption what they try to do. One classic example you can think of a blue ocean strategy is what Geo did to the telecom market, right? I mean, as I said, 8 to 10 years back, when there were multiple players who were fighting for that limited space or limited pie, the primary currency in which they were interacting. When I say currency, it's the currency in which the telecom operators were playing. The primary currency was voice, right? And you would have seen at that point in time, there were a lot of offers related to calling which were coming in, right? Free 500 minutes or free STD calls, free 100 SMSs, etc. Now, here comes Geo, and it completely changes the landscape. What Geo does is, as I said, it completely changes the currency of transaction. It transitions itself from a voice-based currency to a data-based currency. And I think the results are apparent for everyone, right? I mean, it acted as a disruptor, that acted as a catalyst for the industry to actually move into a blue ocean strategy. What is there? So that, in a nutshell, is a blue ocean strategy all about. That how I find out that blue ocean, especially when I've been challenged in my zone where I started my business or where I started my enterprise. But today, that business is no longer lucrative, or there is too much of competition which has come in there. So, how do I transition and transform myself into a blue ocean strategy? Now, before I move ahead, I would request all of you to definitely read this book. Because this is a masterpiece wherein it talks about a lot of such instances. I mean, I gave an example of Geo from an Indian context, but there are a lot of global examples in this book, and one of them we'll be taking up in the subsequent slides. But just to summarize quickly, a red ocean is an ocean where there is a heavy competition, where there is the water which has become muddled with red blood. And a blue ocean is a virgin territory, right? Something which is an unexplored area, something which has not been identified yet as a potential. And whosoever reaches there first will obviously get the first mover advantage. Having said that, it could very well happen that what is blue ocean today might turn into a red ocean maybe 2 or 3 years down the line, because now every competitor, every player of the industry will try to pitch in into the blue ocean. All right. So as I said, this book has got a lot of anecdotes. This book has got a lot of examples on which all organizations have applied blue ocean strategy. The crux of blue ocean strategy is that over a period of time, you have to optimize on cost and you have to increase the value of your product or service. So that golden diamond, what you see, right? That sweet spot or the golden diamond is the place where your entire pivot around blue ocean is going to operate, right? The costs have to be minimized and the value has to be enhanced at the end of the day. That is the golden diamond, or that I would say the sweet spot where organizations or industries have to target. All right. Moving ahead. So one example which this book also talks about is from a very interesting enterprise. It's a circus. It's a very famous Canadian circus, Cirque du Soleil. And this circus was facing a lot of challenges. And we all know, right? I mean, social media has really killed the traditional form of entertainment, be it watching movies in a single screen experience, or for that matter, visiting a circus with your kids. I think those experiences were really monumental experiences, which obviously we have lost now. And obviously, this circus was also facing challenges because one was that there was a lesser footfalls in circus because of heavy content on social media. There are also restrictions in circus nowadays. I think many of you are aware, right? I mean, you cannot have a live animal shows because of animal rights activism and all, right? So this circus was having a lot of challenges, but they applied a blue ocean strategy and they overcame these challenges. So what is this approach they applied? So whenever you're applying a blue ocean strategy, there are four quadrants on which you have to operate. You have to eliminate few of the things which are not working. If elimination is not possible, you have to reduce those things. You have to bring it in a control. You might have to raise or enhance some of the things which will add value. And last but not the least, you have to invent or create some new elements out of it. So Cirque du Soleil also came out with this approach. They analyzed their circus with the competition. And what you see on that bottom X axis are some of the things which this circus was offering. Whether it was star performers, whether it was ale seating, or a better viewing place, fun and humor in the show, right? Unique venue, artistic music and dance, animals, as I said, right? Multiple show formats, multiple shows arena, thrills and dangers. And they found out that which areas we should be targeting. So obviously this involves a lot of strategization. This involves a lot of thinking and brainstorming what needs to be done. And that blue color line essentially is showcasing what things they decided to eliminate. For example, they removed star performers because obviously they came at a heavy price. And from a return point of view, that was not viable. They removed that special animal shows because, as I said, right, I mean, that was something which they had to do it from the point of view of animal activism. Then they removed those ale connections, then multiple shows arenas, they removed those elements. And they reduced essentially I mean, they maintained, I would say, the thrills and dangers and fun and humor element. What is important are the last two quadrants or the columns which are there, raise and create. So they went in for some unique venues. So venue was the kind of an attraction which they put it in their USP, which was there. They came out with very interesting themes for the circus, and they had local artists who were performing great stunts and trapeze. Right. So this strategy really helped this organization, and they could actually not only survive, but they could thrive in an era where circuses were not making money or circuses were loss-making units which were there. Right. So one classic case study given in that book, which is the blue ocean strategy. What is there? Okay, now coming to the problem statement for which I am here, right? Are agile roles dying, right? And as I said, this is a hot topic nowadays in conferences, in events, what we see. And yes, I mean, we do have some standard role definition of what a scrum master is supposed to do, what a product owner is supposed to do, what an agile coach is supposed to do. But what came to my mind when I was thinking about this topic and trying to blend it with a blue ocean strategy was that as an industry, have we committed a blunder? And where I'm referring to is this mid-pandemic situation, right? Where you could find that coaches were hired at an abnormally high price, right? I mean, I've heard instances where coaches were hired for double or triple of their salaries, which was there, right? So this quote came to my mind of a very famous humorist. That I don't know how to change people, or rather, I haven't the slightest idea of how to change people, but still I have a long list of prospective candidates just in case I figure it out. Something similar happened in our coaching world. We didn't know how to use agile coaches, we didn't know how to use scrum masters, but we ended up hiring, only to realize now that the post pandemic era, where we probably feel that basically the growth projections were way off the track, right? Or the perceived values of these roles, we were not able to fully encash, or we were not able to utilize those or extract those values out of these roles, right? So probably these could be, again, I might be completely off track here, but this is what my thought process is, that the way we were hiring, I would say aggressive hiring, right, hyper hiring, as some people are saying, right? And we were unable to provide clarity on these roles. So because I know a lot of people who are ahead as agile coaches, they're not doing the role of an agile coach today. They are doing a pure project or a program management kind of a work, what is there, right? So probably this could be one of the reasons why industry has lost, I would say, uh, the value, or they're not able to figure out what value we can extract from an agile coach or a scrum master role, what is there. Okay, and then of course comes a very interesting study from I mean, Scrum Alliance. This entire quadrant has been picked from there, and one very interesting thing you will see is, look at the positioning of an agile coach role. Market needs less, so which means today post pandemic market needs less of agile coaches, and the demand is less, but the supply is very high. And what could be the reason for this? There could be multiple reasons for this. One reason could be that it turned out to be a very, very glamorous role, right? And at one point in time, I remember people saying me that, oh, you're such a you're such a dream career, right? You are an agile coach. Everyone aspires to be an agile coach, right? I mean, it became the kind of a glamorous role which was there, right? But probably this is what has happened today, right? I mean, that glamour has lost its sheen, and what we see here is a peculiar situation where the supply is very high. And one of the reasons could also be because of heavy certifications, right? I mean, even during pandemic, we could see a lot of, I would say, prospective candidates going in for a certification and becoming an agile coach. Again, a word of caution, I'm not against certification. I do hold many of these certifications. But the challenge was that everyone and anyone who could attend a class, even though he or she is not from a background which is, I would say, aligned to coaching, became an agile coach overnight. Probably that could be the reason what could be there, right? And yes, I mean, a very interesting study. Do download this file from Scrum Alliance website. It is called Skills in the New World of Work. That is the name of the PDF document. I'm not going into the details of it because in that document they have explained it very clearly. So what came out of this study was that skill and role are two different things. Yes, I mean, I might have coaching skills, but my role could be that of a program manager. And today we do expect even our CEOs and CXOs to be having that or wearing that coaching hat, right? So yes, I mean, not necessarily that your role will be reflective of the skills. So today it could very well happen that as a program manager, my 70% of my job is related to applying coaching skills. Maybe 20% could be my actual program management skills. And with the AI adding more complexity into it, artificial intelligence, what could very well happen is that the mundane tasks of a program manager slash project manager, they could very well be taken by an AI based automation system, right? For example, I don't have to worry about sending a weekly status report. I mean, if I configure my Outlook with an AI tool, I think that job would be automatically taken from the project management repository. The report will be pulled out and it will be mailed to a certain set of stakeholders who might decide. So, yes, I mean, having said that, even those traditional roles are changing, whether it is a project manager, program manager, and the same thing applies to the agile coaching roles. The second and the most important thing is and. It is no longer about or, it is about and. It is no longer about that I'm a project manager or agile coach or coaching. It is project manager and coaching skills what are required. So today we need a broken comb skill model, right? I mean, where we have multiple skills present in us, but these skills are of varying order or of varying magnitude which are there. So that's one of the key things which came out of this study which was done. Okay, moving ahead. So another some very interesting findings which came out is human skills are equally important, right? It's no longer about your technical skills, domain skills, or business skills. Even your human skills are very important. Okay, organizations are expecting now individuals to perform more, right? As they say, "Yedil mange more," right? So they need multiple deep skill personalities to be there. It's a team of all rounders, like a T20 cricket. If I aspire to become a T20 cricketer, I just can't rely on one of the skills, whether it is a batting or a bowling or a fielding or a wicket keeping skills. Today, I need a plethora of skills in varying order which are needed. Okay, agile acumen, practical knowledge of agile. I think, as I said earlier, right? I mean, it's not just about attending certification. It's about real time practical knowledge is what is needed. And then, of course, we have is the role of an agile coach, a dedicated agile coach is slowly coming down, and you can see from the job ads also, right? I mean, many companies have actually stopped hiring for an agile coaching role. They have stopped basically going ahead with this role at all, right? And they have replaced it with some other role what is there. And one challenge I would say for the certification companies would be to take this feedback, to take this understanding, and try to design certifications which cater around these areas rather than having a very much focused certification only on coaching or only on leadership. I think they will have to take into account these factors and redesign and reformat their certifications which are there. Okay, so now, as I said, blue ocean strategy is all about identifying which things to eliminate, which things to reduce, which things to raise, which things to create. And if I were to apply it in our world, when I say our world, the agile coaching world, the only difference what I see is that we may not have a cost dimension, but we definitely need to work on the mindset dimension and obviously the value dimension. What value as a coach or a scrum master we would be offering to the industry, right? So what things we would be eliminating, let us try to understand that. And again, this is my understanding, or rather my limited understanding based on my work, what I've been doing for last few years, and I might be completely off track. In fact, I would request you to provide your candid feedback, whether these points really make sense or should they be replaced by any other point, right? So what are the things I will eliminate? One basic misconception is that a coach is a hands-off person. A coach does not carry accountability. I think we'll have to break that myth. We'll have to say that no, a coach is someone who's an equal part of the team. A coach is someone who will go down and get his or her hands dirty, right? A coach is not just about just preaching something in a coaching session and then forgetting about it. And a coach is not about avoiding accountability. In fact, I would go on to say that your coach should be the primary accountability partner. So, how do we bring about a change in the mindset, in the leadership, in other stakeholders, where they move in from a fixed mindset or some preconceived notion into a growth mindset? I think those are the elimination things which we will have to do. Which things we will have to reduce? Waste, obviously we'll have to bring about a lean mindset, identify waste, which things as coaches we should not be doing, any removing any bottlenecks which are there, and removing any dependencies what we see, right? So basically it's not about coach being isolated there, right? I mean, you will find that this role will intersect with other roles, and there could be certain dependencies and expectations which could be there. But how do we reduce those dependencies? How do we reduce those dependencies in the interest of the engagement, and we deliver products faster to our customers? Then what comes out is basically create some things, right? So today the coach has to work very closely with the business, assist the product owners, product managers in identifying the business value. So gone are the days where I could just report traditional metrics like velocity, burn down chart, say-do ratio. Today, the industry demands that we as coaches partner with the industry experts, partner with the industry accelerators, and define what are the business outcomes of this solution. How is this solution helping business to realize its true value? Right. Also design some practical solutions to the problems faced by the industry. And how do we bring about an invention and an innovation mindset? So it's not just about innovation mindset. It's also about an invention mindset, what is there. Last but not the least, As the coach, you are going to be there, you are going to be standing tall in and make sure that your team reaches its goal. As I said, it's about accountability, it's not about just preaching something. So how do we build a culture of trust, collaboration, and how do we give that confidence to all the layers of the account team, right? Whether it's a senior leadership team, whether it's the middle management, whether it's a junior team members, how do we give them that trust, confidence that come what may be, we are there, right? I mean, we should act as a net. I mean, the coach is more like a safety net in today's world, so that if there's a problem in any of the trapeze artists, he or she falls from the top, the safety net or the basically the psychological safety is going to protect the team members. And this applies equally for leadership. In fact, psychological safety is not just for team members, it is also for leaders. Okay, many times you will see that leaders themselves are not psychologically safe. Forget of the junior team members, I'm talking about senior executive leaders, senior stakeholders in the engagement who themselves are not psychologically safe, right? So that is what I feel are the four quadrants from an agile coaching role, what we should be targeting as a part of our blue ocean strategy. Yeah, so that's what I wanted to share with all of you. I hope this talk enlightened you. This talk gave you a different perspective. This talk gave you a kind of a, I would say, an excitement that okay, not all is bad with the agile coaching world. Definitely there is a scope for enhancing these roles, there is a scope for moving ahead with these roles. The only thing what is needed is transitioning and transforming them and remolding them, right? Because as we know, right, I mean, just like we do a code refactoring, right? Whatever code we started the product with, we cannot live with that code for ages, right? We'll have to refactor the code. So I call this as the coaching refactoring. This is more related to reinventing ourselves as a coach. So this is Ashutosh Bhatodekar signing off for the moment. Do like, share, and subscribe to this video. Do connect to my YouTube channel for more such videos, and I'll be happy to be connected with you on LinkedIn to share more such ideas. Thank you very much and have a great day ahead.